Welcome, curious listeners, to The Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're really taking a magnifying glass to, well, a truly remarkable journey. We're focusing on a pivotal moment, one that didn't just change everything for Nyla and Brody, but you could argue it, redefined what's possible in environmental advocacy.
Absolutely. A real game-changer moment.
We're tracing their path, through some pretty significant challenges, some real triumphs, too.
Right.
And zeroing in on one single transformative event, the Water Warriors video.
And what's so crucial to understand about this Water Warriors clip, I think, is that it wasn't some polished, planned PR stunt. Not at all.
No.
It was authentic, raw, unscripted, a moment that just sort of emerged really unexpectedly.
Yeah.
And then, as we'll unpack it, just exploded, gained this incredible traction.
Precisely. And before this video hit, Nyla and Brody, they faced a really significant uphill battle.
Oh, what happened?
They were struggling with the sheer scale of the challenges, weren't they? Cutting through all that bureaucratic red tape. Bureaucracy.
Battling public apathy, which is huge, and just trying to communicate these really complex issues to a world that, well, often just tunes out.
It's hard to cut through the noise.
Then Water Warriors. It didn't just go viral. It was more like the spark, wasn't it?
Yep.
The spark that ignited this previously unmobilized public into action.
Yeah, it completely shifted their trajectory overnight almost.
So how did this spontaneous, unfiltered moment start to reshape their public narrative? What was the mechanism there?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it, how sometimes that unpolished truth can just bypass all the traditional media gatekeepers?
Right.
It creates this instantaneous, unmanufactured trust. Even the biggest PR campaigns really struggle to build.
Well, that lack of polish gives it credibility.
Exactly. The very unexpectedness of it lent it this immediate credibility. What they captured on that video was just pure, unfiltered essence. A moment of real clarity, genuine passion. And it resonated so deeply because it wasn't trying to sell anything.
Right.
It just was. And what a moment it was. Okay, let's pull back the curtain on this viral phenomenon, because understanding why Water Warriors became such a beacon is, I think, really key.
Agreed.
First up, there's Nyla. In that video, she was just a master communicator, somehow distilling this incredibly complex hydrological science into remarkably simple, accessible terms. It was quite something.
It really was.
We've all seen those incredibly dry scientific presentations, right?
Oh yeah, death by PowerPoint.
Exactly, but she just brought it to life. I can almost picture her maybe holding up a jar of murky water.
Yeah, I think that's right. The visual aids were important.
Demonstrating how something seemingly innocuous, like, say, excess agricultural runoff.
The nitrates, phosphates.
Exactly, laden with that stuff, how it could fundamentally alter a river's delicate pH balance, leading to, massive algae blooms, devastating aquatic life.
Devastating, and she made that connection clear.
She'd maybe use a simple, maybe even homemade-looking biofilter to show how that damage could actually be reversed, how you could clean the water.
That ability.
Yeah.
That skill to break down complex scientific jargon for public awareness, for education, it's absolutely critical. But Nyla, she took it a step further, didn't she?
How so?
It wasn't just simplification, it was translation. That's the word I'd use.
Translation. Okay.
She took these indicators, things like dissolved oxygen levels or macroinvertebrate populations.
Stuff usually buried in academic papers.
Exactly. Concepts often confined to scientific papers. And she made them tangible. Real.
Right.
She connected that abstract data directly to the health of the local ecosystem, to the very water, people drank or fished in.
Bringing it home?
Yes. And that kind of clarity, it isn't just informative, it's empowering. It transforms these huge, complex problems into potentially solvable ones right there in the public mind.
Okay, so that's Nyla's piece, making the science crystal clear, relatable. And then right alongside her was Brody. He wasn't just like a supportive presence nodding along.
No, he was active.
He was actively outlining the surprising legal loopholes, the ingenious strategies they navigated. It felt like watching legal wizardry, truly.
It kind of was. He had this knack.
You could almost see him maybe holding up this thick stack of dense, often contradictory regulations.
Yeah, I can picture that. Overwhelming stuff.
And pointing a finger right to some obscure, maybe 19th century right to common passage statue.
Something totally archaic.
Yeah, perhaps originally intended for, logging rafts floating down a river or something.
Right.
And they ingeniously reinterpreted that to establish public access and protection for a specific waterway today.
Wow. takes some creative thinking.
Or maybe he showed how they leveraged an almost forgotten local bylaw to just cut through years of potential environmental impact assessment red tape.
That's the brilliance, isn't it? What's fascinating here is the strategic insight, combining that legal advocacy, that sharp legal mind, with Nyla's crystal clear scientific understanding.
The combination.
Yes. And this raises an important question, I think. Was it just about knowing the law or the science in isolation?
Probably not.
No, definitely not. It's about how those two fields intersect, how Nyla's scientific clarity actually preempted the common legal obfuscation you often see.
So the science made the legal case stronger.
It made Brody's legal maneuvers not just defensible, but almost morally inescapable to the public watching.
Okay, I see.
He wasn't just citing dusty old statutes, he was applying legal frameworks to address scientifically proven damage.
Right.
Real harm.
Right.
That synergy, Nyla's science plus Brody's law, that integrated advocacy, that's what created a path forward where honestly none seemed to exist before.
It punched through the gridlock.
Precisely.
And the proof, as they say, was definitely in the pudding. This clip, it was quickly dubbed Water Warriors, Science Meets Justice.
Great name.
And it didn't just go viral, it went stratospheric. I mean, millions of views within days.
Unbelievable numbers.
It became this incredibly powerful beacon of hope, especially in the often, let's face it, bleak landscape of environmental news.
Very bleak sometimes, yeah.
So for you, the listener, think about it. What about this particular clip resonated so much beyond the obvious authenticity we talked about? Were there any maybe subtle messages or visual cues in Water Warriors that truly set it apart, differentiated it from other advocacy efforts, and maybe tapped into an unexpected emotional current?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, I think it resonates so deeply because it showcased tangible results and a deeply human connection.
Okay, tangible results.
You see, many environmental campaigns, they talk about problems, right?
Yeah.
Or very abstract future solutions.
Yeah. Lots of doom and gloom or vague promises.
Exactly. Water Warriors was different. It demonstrated a real partnership. Nyla and Brody overcoming real, tangible obstacles. They literally showed, or at least clearly explained, the before and after of their efforts.
Action, not just words.
It was rooted in action, not just talk. People could immediately grasp the power of combining their fields. They could see science meets justice, not just as some catchy phrase,
Right.
but as a practical, effective, and, crucially, a replicable approach to actually solving problems.
Replicable. That's interesting. So others could potentially do this too.
That was part of the hope it offered, I think, and maybe the subtle cue you mentioned. Perhaps it was just the sheer, undeniable passion in their eyes. You could see it. Combined with the absolute clarity of their explanation, it managed to be both deeply intellectual and profoundly empathetic at the same time.
That's a fantastic point about the human element, the empathy. So, okay, the video resonated deeply with individuals. What was its ripple effect? What about the larger landscape of, say, climate change and environmental justice?
Oh, he was absolutely crucial for advancing that whole conversation.
Right. Think about awareness and education first. The video didn't just simplify these complex issues around water rights and management.
Which is hard enough.
Right. It made them undeniably accessible. It transformed these dry legal documents, these dense scientific reports, into a genuinely compelling narrative people could follow.
Yes, exactly. By breaking down that scientific jargon, that legal gobbledygook,
Yeah.
Nyla and Brody truly empowered everyday individuals. People felt they could actually understand and engage with these critical topics.
It wasn't over their heads anymore.
Precisely. It transformed abstract concepts like, riparian rights or aquifer depletion.
Things most people have maybe heard of but don't really grasp.
Right, into concrete realities that people could connect to their own communities.
Yeah.
And feel empowered to actually address.
So it wasn't just about informing them.
No, it was about activating them, giving them the confidence that they could understand it and therefore maybe do something about it.
Which leads perfectly into the next point, inspiration for action. The video didn't just say change was needed. It concretely demonstrated that change is possible when science meets advocacy, when those two things come together effectively.
Yeah.
It showed people that their efforts, maybe small individual efforts or local group efforts, could actually lead somewhere, could make a tangible difference in the real world.
Exactly right. And that visible demonstration of possibility, it just ignited a fire under people.
You could feel it.
Yeah. It inspired viewers to become actively involved in environmental justice efforts,
Yeah.
not just as, distant observers signing an online petition,
Right, clicking like.
but as actual participants. It fueled grassroots movements, local initiatives. It turned passive observers into active participants in the fight for change.
Did you see concrete examples of that?
Absolutely. We saw communities starting their own local water testing programs, for instance, or people beginning to challenge specific industrial permits in their area, using arguments directly inspired by Nyla and Brody's approach they saw in the video.
Wow, so direct inspiration leading to real-world action.
Definitely.
And beyond that individual action, it seems like it also created this powerful sense of community engagement. By emphasizing that collaborative approach, just showing their unity as a duo, Nyla and Brody working together,
That visual was powerful.
it fostered a real sense of collective agency among the viewers. It highlighted that collective action is powerful, that you're not alone in this fight,
Indeed. It strongly reinforced the idea that collective action truly leads to meaningful change. And it stressed that everyone, really everyone, regardless of their background or expertise, has a role to play in the fight against climate change, environmental degradation.
It makes the problem feel less overwhelming if you feel part of a community tackling it.
Absolutely. And this raises an important question, doesn't it? How do we continue to build on that initial sense of shared responsibility?
Yeah.
How do we translate that first spark of engagement from something like this video into sustained systemic action?
Yeah, the long haul.
Right. This video, by demonstrating such a successful model of collaboration between Nyla and Brody, it essentially provided a kind of blueprint, a framework for building community around these really complex environmental issues.
A model others could look at.
Yes, it showed that when individuals combine their unique skills, science, law, communication, community organizing, whatever it is, they create a force that's far greater than the sum of its parts.
Okay, so a huge impact on awareness, action, and community. But what does this all mean for Nyla and Brody personally? This unexpected viral moment, it must have changed everything for them.
Oh, completely.
It propelled them onto this much larger, much more prominent stage, far sooner, I imagine, than either of them could have possibly anticipated.
Absolutely. It was like going from being, quiet innovators working diligently in their field.
Maybe known to a few specialists.
Right. To suddenly being global spokespeople almost overnight. The speed was incredible.
So what did that look like in practice? How did it solidify their reputation?
Well, it truly did solidify their reputation almost instantly. Think about it. Before water warriors, they were likely respected, but within fairly specific niche circles, right?
Academic, legal, maybe some activist groups.
Exactly. After water warriors went viral, they gained this much broader public trust and recognition. And that opened doors.
Doors to what?
Doors to influence policy discussions at higher levels, to engage with a far wider audience. We're talking international NGOs, government agencies, major foundations, people who might not have even known who they were a month earlier.
So it gave them access and influence.
Tremendous access and influence. This organic surge of public recognition, it allowed them to really champion things like the Environmental Systems Act, which is a massive legislative undertaking they were involved in.
Okay, so the video fame fueled their larger policy goals.
Directly. The video essentially forged this powerful sense of a shared mission, not just between them, but with the public that supported them. It reinforced their work and, crucially, helped them in maintaining synergy between their scientific and legal efforts.
Synergy, that combination again.
Yes. It led to this profound transformation for them, showcasing the immense impact of unity between their distinct fields. They didn't just solve one problem. They demonstrated a way of solving problems.
So they became role models, in a way.
Absolutely. They essentially created a community around their methods, providing a clear framework for others to follow. They really became pioneers of this integration approach.
Combining science and law so effectively.
Right, forging a model that future environmental efforts could and did emulate. They created a legacy set to echo for years to come.
Wow.
So this wasn't just, a moment of personal triumph for Nyla and Brody, though it was that too. It was really the birth of a new paradigm for environmental advocacy.
A new way of doing things.
A living, breathing model of how scientific rigor and legal ingenuity could combine to create tangible, lasting change. It showed it could be done.
That's a really powerful transformation, isn't it? It's almost as if the video gave them this huge megaphone they never anticipated having.
Exactly.
But it was precisely the one they needed to amplify their message and their methods.
Couldn't have said it better. The right tool at the right time, even if unexpected.
Okay. Now, as we start to wrap up for our final thought today, we always like to leave you, our listener, with something to chew on. A riddle to ponder as you go about your day.
I like this part.
Here it is. What flows yet can be trapped, holds life yet can be lost, and when combined with voice, can spark change?
Flows yet can be trapped, holds life yet can be lost, combined with voice sparks change.
Any thoughts? Well, it clearly relates to the essence of water, doesn't it? The literal subject of their work.
Water flows can be trapped in dams or aquifers, holds life can be lost through pollution or drought.
Exactly. But the second part, when combined with voice, can spark change. That brings in the advocacy piece.
The human element again.
Yes. Just as water is vital for all life, so too is the collective voice of the community, informed, passionate, united in the fight for climate justice, for environmental protection. So the riddle connects the natural resource with the human action needed to protect it.
Beautifully. The Water Warriors video exemplified this perfectly, I think. It showed how combining knowledge, Nyla's scientific clarity, Brody's legal insight with passion, and crucially, with a unified voice that could cut through the noise.
Yeah.
That combination can eliminate paths toward real solutions. It wasn't just about highlighting a problem. It was about demonstrating a pathway to resolution.
Making the invisible visible and the impossible seem possible.
Exactly. And it truly reminds us that every drop counts. Every drop of water, yes, but also every drop of effort, every voice raised counts in the fight against environmental degradation.
Every drop counts. I like that.
And this leads me to a final, maybe more provocative question for you, our listener, to really ponder. Think about the world around you. Where do you see this tension played out? This tension between, say, clear scientific understanding of a problem and the often lagging or inadequate legal or policy framework meant to address it.
Oh, that tension is everywhere.
It really is. You see it in urban planning, maybe, resource management, energy policy, even global trade agreements. So the question is, how can that tension, that often frustrating gap between knowing what needs to be done based on science and being able to do it within current systems, how can that tension be harnessed? Not just identified, but actively harnessed in a systemic way to drive real, lasting change.
Turning frustration into fuel.
Something like that. Think about your own expertise, your own community, your own passions. Where can you potentially help bridge that gap between the science and the action?
A powerful question to leave us with. Food for thought indeed.
Hopefully.
Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into heartfelt harmony and specifically into the incredible impact of that Water Warriors moment.
It was a pleasure to unpack it.
If you're interested in more stories like this, stories that reveal the power of unity and action, stories that truly unpack the core of groundbreaking movements, well, you know what to do. Please like, subscribe, and maybe comment a heart.
Yeah, do that.
Because remember, at the end of the day, it is the heart of the stories that truly resonates. Thanks for listening.